You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry is the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/acast.
Your business is one of a kind, so your website should be too. With Wix, it's easy. Almost too easy to create a website that's perfectly yours. Just tell AI what kind of site you want to build or choose from thousands of templates. Change whatever you want, whenever you want, and get everything you need to start running your business your way. No matter what you sell or what you aspire to be, you can do it all yourself on Wix.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt, a podcast about electric vehicles, renewable energy, autonomous driving, and much, much more. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. And on today's episode, we have EV news. Now, here's the thing. Things are kind of busy. The intensity of all the things that I got going, I don't know if that's the right word, but the time commitment of all the things that I've got going right now have made it harder for me to get the show done in a way that I normally do it. Normally, I like to kind of tell a little story, I like to have one article flow into another. I don't know if this comes through on your side when you listen to this, but for me, it makes more sense to kind of, if I'm talking about Rivian, I fold into the R2, and then I talk about Lucid's more affordable vehicle, and blah 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 blah. There's kind of a form to it. Right now, that's harder to do because I have to write my show notes in a way for that to happen. And that takes a little bit more time, but this is the way I like to do things. Well, in order for me to do that, I would have to only right now produce one episode a week. I wouldn't be able to produce two because it takes a little bit of time. And I don't have all that much time. So what I'm doing now, until I get caught up and things slow down a little bit, is I'm telling you the news stories that you would get. Maybe it's not in the exact same way that you would have gotten it a week ago, but that's kind of where I'm at in terms of the amount of time that I have to put into this. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not putting any time into it, because actually I'm putting quite a bit of time. There's a lot that goes into this show behind the scenes when it comes to scheduling interviews, which I have a couple coming up, pre-recording episodes, and all this other stuff that goes with being a content creator. And that, honestly, when you pre-record an interview for something that you're going to put out at a later date and time, that is like doing 3 podcasts. If you record one interview, it's like doing 3 podcasts in 1 week. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm not putting the show as a priority, because honestly, right now I could go to sleep and probably sleep until 8 a.m. and it's 10. So I could sleep for 9-10 hours easily because I'm that tired. But I'm here talking to you because I'm committed. Okay, so today we're going to talk about EV news. We're not going to get to the Tesla news. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm going to try and write another show tomorrow. I'll try to write a show Friday, and we'll just kind of get through the backlog of articles that we have. At the time of writing this, I had 178 articles that I hadn't read yet. So it's kind of been nutty. Now, I don't include all of those articles in the shows, obviously, but I like to look at them and scan them at the bare minimum to see if that would be something that would be good for the show. So, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of news right now for when it comes to EVs. I wonder if it'll slow down a little bit after the tax credit stuff goes away. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our EV news. And we're going to start with Volkswagen. The 2026 ID4 is getting some changes, which will please some of you because there are a lot of fans of the ID4 in this Kilowatt community that we have. But there are certain things that people don't like about it. So Volkswagen is making some changes. And while we don't know all of the changes, we know that one of the changes is they're going to bring back physical buttons and knobs, which I know some of us are fans of. It's so weird to me how it's so divided when it comes to physical buttons and knobs, and some people want it and some people don't. Honestly, I'm okay with either. The new Kia Carnival minivan that my wife and I just bought, it has a nice mix of touch and physical, although a lot of the touch stuff is like capacitive, like it's not necessarily on the screen. There's a I don't know, menu bar below the screen that you can do things like you can change the climate, you can make it hotter or make it cooler, and then you hit another button and those same buttons turn into like volume controls and tuner controls, which don't get me started about how confusing that is when you're trying to drive and you don't know quite what you're doing. But overall, it's a good mix. And by the way, if you're looking for a minivan, the Kia Carnival, so far, we're super happy with it. We drove on Friday. We drove from Phoenix to San Diego. This is not part of the news, but we drove from Phoenix to San Diego without having to fill up in between. We stop in Yuma and fill up. We were able to drive the whole way there, and it's 300 and some miles. And then we drove around San Diego and filled up before we left and drove the whole way home. And I don't think my wife's put gas in the car, and we got home on Sunday. So she's still driving on that tank that we had when we were in San Diego. So it's overall, I give the Kia Carnivals high marks. We're enjoying the car so far. Anyway, back to Volkswagen. The new ID4 is set to come out sometime in late 2026. Volkswagen is also planning on moving away from the ID insert number naming convention. So the ID3, the ID4, the ID2, that's kind of go away. Instead, Volkswagen will use existing and familiar car names. So for instance, the compact electric hatchback that they have coming out soon initially was called the ID.2all, which was a silly name. Now it'll be known as the ID.Polo. Now the Volkswagen Polo is a very popular car. That makes a lot of sense. If we can go back to the ID4, it's rumored that Volkswagen is calling that car the ID Tiguan internally. That's according to reports. We don't know if that's what they're really going to call it or not, but, it makes sense. They have the ID Buzz, which is the van. So, yeah, I think this is ultimately a good move by Volkswagen. Next up, we have Lucid. We're going to start with Lucid here in the United States. Lucid said that they are going to continue to offer a $7,500 discount when the federal tax credit ends here in the U.S. So if you go to buy a Lucid on October 1st, you will get or see a $7,500 discount, at least in the short term. I don't think Lucid's going to continue doing this. I think eventually they'll end up doing away with the $7,500 discount, but it keeps their name in the press and makes their vehicles a more viable option for somebody who's looking for a car in that $70,000-ish to $250,000 price range. Now, in terms of the European market, the Lucid Gravity is officially available to order in Europe. Not all of Europe, just Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Norway. Deliveries should start in early 2026. The Grand Touring, which, unfortunately, Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Norway all have different currencies. So let me let me go through this real quick. They are going to be releasing the Touring and the Grand Touring. Right now, the Touring is the top of the line model. The Grand Touring is the top of the line model, and the Touring is just the base model. When I say base, It's the more affordable model that they have. So the Touring is going to start around 100,000 euros in Germany and the Netherlands, 108,000 Swiss francs in Switzerland, and 1,000,000 kroner in Norway. So that's the Touring. The Grand Touring is going to start around 117,000 euros in Germany and the Netherlands, 126,000 Swiss francs, and 1.2 million Norwegian kroner. According to Lucid, their range, because they have to follow different rules for range in the European Union and other countries. So they're looking at about 748 kilometers of range. And I didn't do the math here. That's about 464 miles. A lot of times when I see car companies put up, especially big numbers, I don't really believe it, but Lucid is really good with their range and their efficiency, so I'm more apt to believe what they say. They also say that you can add 200 miles of charge in about 10 minutes. So if you are, in the European Union area and you are looking for a, minivan-sized SUV, you can expect deliveries to start in early 2026, but I believe you can pre-order it now. All right. Our final Lucid story, but not our final story. Our final Lucid story is about their $50,000 SUV. So Lucid has confirmed that their $50,000 SUV and a sedan is on its way. The new, more affordable EVs will be based on, or at least the SUV is going to be based on the Lucid Gravity X concept. The concept for X has, upgrades for like off-roading when it, like off-roading tires, lifted suspension, a wider, more aggressive stance. So we're looking at what's probably going to be a smaller, just shrunken down, not 3-row Lucid Gravity, which is fine because the Lucid Gravity is a really nice looking car. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be upset about that. The vehicle will have a premium feel, even though it's kind of more designed for off-road. It's going to have leather seats. I put this in here because I thought it was funny. It's going to have leather seats and high-performance floor mats, which is a silly thing to say or even care about. But I'd like to see what a high-performance floor mat looks like. According to Lucid, they have the money in the bank to start production, which will happen the second half of 2026. And remember when we talked about that Uber partnership that Lucid has of putting these Lucid Gravities into a robo-taxi type fleet with Uber and another company that is escaping me at the moment. These smaller SUVs, $50,000 SUVs, will actually go on to that fleet as well. So that's good to know. Deliveries are going to start in 2027. I've seen some people compare this to I've seen some people compare it to the Model Y, and it's not that the Model Y is not a fair comparison, but Rivian is trying to attract those people that think they want to take their vehicle off-road, but then never actually do. So that's probably 90% of the people who are going to buy this car. We'll say 98% of the people who are going to buy this car will never take it off-road, but they want it to look like they will. And the 2% of people who actually do. So this is really competing with the R2 or R3 from Rivian, the Jeep Recon, or the Scout Terra. Again, that's all. That's if you take into account that if these people were going to take them off-road. If they weren't going to take them off-road, you could probably compare it to the Model Y just fine. But Lucid wants you to know, with their high-performance floor mats, that this is a rugged vehicle for off-roading. And then at some point, there's going to be a sedan.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry is the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/acast.
Say what you want about AI, but it's here. And it's helping businesses get more done in a day. Wix's website builder is infused with AI so you can stay ahead. Create a beautiful, functional website just by describing your idea. Track how your site appears in AI search results. Create custom images on demand, or launch an entire campaign in a matter of minutes. Wix gives you AI wherever you need it. Try it now for free at wix.com.
Okay, that brings us to our final story, and actually the one I'm most excited about. I think I've re-recorded different parts of this episode so many times, I can't remember what I said at the beginning, so I apologize if I've already said this, but I went to San Diego this weekend with some friends. It is the dumbest trip ever. We drive to San Diego on a Friday, get there about 10 or 11 at night. We have 2 kids each, all around the ages of 13 years old. So we go, we stay the night at an Airbnb, and then the next day we hit all of the things that we think are fun in San Diego. A lot of them are beaches, a lot of them are hiking. We just want to get close to the water. And then we go back to the Airbnb late at night, go to sleep, wake up, drive back in the morning. It is the absolute dumbest vacation ever, but we have a lot of fun doing it. But here's the thing. As we were winding down on Saturday night, we had a little fire going outside, and I got, these couple of news alerts about the BMW iX3, and I excused myself for a little bit, went and sat in the living room and watched a 25-minute video on the iX3, and this is a really nice car. First of all, it's built on a new platform. It's clean sheet. It doesn't look like any of the other current BMW EVs. This is a car that's meant to be an EV. The grille no longer has that kidney grille that we've talked about with like Lamar Wilson and Pat Dangler. That look is very polarizing. Some people are okay with it, some people like it, and a lot of people don't. But the grille on this newer vehicle is kind of it's kind of a nod to older BMWs from the 60s and 70s. Again, I can't even express to you what a great looking car this is. The one that they're showing off is blue. My next car, as of right now, is going to be the Scout Terra. Oh, you know what? We need to go back for a second. When I told you that the Lucid was competing with the Scout Terra, it's actually competing with the Traveler. The Traveler is the SUV, the Terra is the pickup truck. Anyway, I really would like to have a pickup truck. I've said this before. My house is old. I go to Home Depot a lot. I was at Home Depot today. So because my house is old and I do a lot of home repairs and things like that, it would be nice, not necessarily a absolute 100% need, but it would be nice if I had a pickup truck to put some stuff in. We're going to go pick up a bed for my son. We bought him a new bed, and we're going to have to take all the seats out of the minivan to put the bed into the back of the minivan. It would be easier just to put it in the back of a truck, that kind of thing. I want the utility of the truck, and I also want to look cool owning a truck. I've always wanted a truck, never really had one. I had a small Mitsubishi. I don't count that one. But anyway, so what? That's all to say that this car looks so good, and it's around the same price as the Terra. I'm really like I'm kind of doubting. It's up in the air right now. It's up in the air because it looks so good on the outside. The interior of the car is also really nice. The seats look big and comfy. There's a big 18-inch infotainment screen in the middle of the dash that's kind of cattywampus. It's kind of at a slant. It looks really good. And then along the bottom of the window, where the window and the dash meet, there's a screen that runs from one side of the car to the other, and they call this panoramic vision. And that is displaying information that's on the infotainment screen. So if you are navigating, and you can customize this, you can put things where you want it to be so that it makes sense for you. But if you're navigating and you want those navigations to be on that screen right in front of your eyes, they can be. It's not a heads-up display. It's just this little bar that goes across. Great idea. It looks good. I don't know how it functions, but it looks really good. The other thing is the steering wheel looks a little bit more futuristic. It's not a square, but it's not a circle. It's just kind of this shape. I'm not sure if I like the steering wheel or not, but a cool thing is on the steering wheel, it's got haptic feedback buttons, and then the buttons change depending on what you're doing. So let's say you're parking. The buttons will change to be relevant to what you're doing at that time. So if you're parking, you don't necessarily need cruise control. So that one disappears and a haptic button comes up for something that's helpful for parking. Whereas you're going down the freeway at 75 miles an hour, then you might, the buttons are going to change, and maybe it's more for the autonomous driving features. Really super cool concept. I like that. How it's going to work in the real world, it took me like 5 times to say that without sounding like I was having a stroke. I don't know how it's going to work in the real world when people actually start taking delivery of these, but as a concept, it's a really neat idea. Again, going back to the interior, it's sleek, it's simple, it's a 5-seater, it's got a 60-40 split in the back seats, so you can put one side down and still have somebody sitting in the back seat if you're hauling some cargo. It's got a small frunk up top. It's got 4 computers running the car. One of the computers is dealing with driving dynamics, which makes, it's supposed to make the driving experience better. However, the other computers... They mentioned it. People mentioned it. I just never got what the other 3 computers are for. So as I learn more, I will update you. Great big 108 kilowatt hour battery, but that gives you a range of 400 miles. So that's really good. Production is expected to start later this year. And then as far as price, it sounds like it's going to be around $60,000, although I don't think BMW said this officially. All right, everybody, that is it for me. And hey, I managed to actually do a complete show. I thought this was going to be like 9 minutes long. I did not think it would be 21 minutes long. So yay me. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to try and release some shorter episodes, like I said, to kind of get through the backlog. But there's just a lot of news coming in right now. And a lot of news that I think you're going to be interested in. So I'll try and make some shorter episodes mixed in with my normal 20-minute episodes. I'm trying not to make these marathon episodes because, 1, some people don't like them when they're too long. And 2, if I'm going to put the time in for that, it means that I won't be getting episodes out in a timely manner because it takes a long time to not only create, but to record those episodes versus, doing a 10-minute episode doesn't take very much time at all for me. Sorry, hiccup. Anyway, if you want to, you can email me. It's Bodie, BODIE at 918digital.com. You can find me on X at 918digital. And then I'm on LinkedIn. You just search for Bodie Grimm on LinkedIn. You'll find me there. Yeah. I hope everybody had a really good week. Just with recent things that happen here in the U.S., everybody be good to each other, be kind. And I will talk to you next week. Not next week, in a couple of days. I will talk to you in a couple of days. In reality, it's probably next week. But the goal is tomorrow and Friday. Anyway, I'm just going to play the music because I'm tired and I'm not making any sense.
No one knows your business better than you. So who better to create your website than, well, you? Wix's website builder puts it all in your hands. Create a beautiful website just by talking with AI or choosing from thousands of templates. Customize every detail with simple drag and drop tools and get everything you need to start running business your way. Build more, think bigger, and do it all yourself on Wix. Go to Wix.com.
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. That's ziprecruiter.com/zip. ziprecruiter.com/zip.